Week 14 of the fantasy basketball season, and here's a few centers I look to buy and trade for this week. The first center, Clint Capela of the Atlanta Hawks. Clint Capela, I mentioned him as a buy last week, and once again he's back on the list, and a guy most likely getting traded at the NBA trade deadline, where the Hawks, they want to get rid of a few pieces and reset for the next couple years. On the season, 11.2 points a game, 10.4 rebounds, an assist, 1.7 blocks, and 57% from the field. So a lot of people, they don't think Clint Capela is a good center, but in terms of stats and for fantasy basketball, I think he's a solid center. A guy who could help fantasy owners in block shots and double-doubles. In the last couple weeks, yes, his numbers have dropped off a bit. 8.9 points a game, 8.6 rebounds, 1.6 blocks, and 52% from the field. But I think a trade will help Clint Capela, and they will know how to use him, the new team he goes on, a little bit more maybe than this Hawk team does. And this Hawk team we know has a good backup center as well, is a Congo. So January 19th in Miami, 9 points, 11 rebounds, a block, 50% from the field. January 20th versus Cleveland, 6 points, 9 boards, a steal, 2 blocks, 37% from the field. And January 22nd, he came off a nice game with a double-double, 11 points, 12 rebounds at Sacramento, an assist, 2 blocks, 40% from the field. But right now, like I said, I don't think this Hawk team wants to hold on to him with one more year on his contract after this season. The trade deadline is in 2 weeks, and Clint Capela could go to a contender and really help him out at the center position, being a rim protector and rebounding the basketball and playing a little bit more than the 22, 25 minutes a game we've seen him with Atlanta. So right now, while his value isn't all that great, and this Hawk team isn't really playing him that much, Clint Capela is a buy this week at the center position. Next center I look to buy and trade for is DeAndre Aoun of the Portland Trailblazers. So Aoun, he missed a lot of time over the last few weeks here. He missed all the way from December 26th was Aoun to January 17th, so almost a month, but he's been back now over the last 3 games. So on the season for Aoun, 12.8 points a game, 10.4 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 1.1 steals, and 53% from the field. So Aoun, another guy, is going to rebound and get about a double-double, and Aoun thinks he's a max player, saying it the other day as well, and he's going to continue to play like that, even though the stats have definitely been down since he returned from injury. January 19th versus Indiana Pacers, 12 points, 8 boards, an assist, 2 blocks, 40% from the field. January 21st, in a blowout loss at the Lakers, 6 points, 4 rebounds, 42% from the field. And January 23rd at the Thunder, 5.7 rebounds, 2 assists, 28% from the field. So the last 3 games since he returned is Aoun. He's definitely taken a hit, or his numbers, but he's also a guy we've seen go out there this season and have a 20 rebound type of game. So he's more of the typical center, not going to hit the 3 ball, just going to rebound, going to get his 10, 12 points per game. And sometimes that's just solid for the center position. You don't need all these 3-point shooters at every position in fantasy basketball, where you want more of a little bit of everything on your roster. So right now, while Aoun hasn't been great since he returned, he's a buy low this week. And the third and final center I look to buy and trade for is Bobby Portis of the Milwaukee Bucks. So the Bucks fired head coach AJ Griffin at 30-13. It just wasn't working, and whatever the problem may be. So now with Doc Rivers coming in as the head coach here, once again, Rivers getting another job in the NBA. I think Rivers, he's going to use Portis well. And we've seen Rivers with these bench guys play really well over the last few seasons. So on the year for Portis, 12.3 points a game, 6.7 rebounds, and assists, 1-3 and 50% from the field. So Bobby Portis last season had a better year than he did this year. And I think he could get back to that level with Doc Rivers as the head coach here, and a guy who knows how to utilize his bench with more experience than an AJ Griffin had. So the last few games for Portis, January 17th at the Cavs, 16 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal with 54% from the field. January 20th at the Pistons, 4 points, 3 boards, 50% from the field. And the 22nd at the Pistons, 7 points, 4 boards, a block, 40% from the field. So his minutes have been about 17 to 25-minute range. He is Bobby Portis. But like I said, Doc Rivers, he knows how to get more out of his players. Where AJ Griffin, they did have a good record, but the superstars didn't like him and the players didn't really agree with him. And that's why at 30-13, they let him go, and they got the Doc Rivers as the head coach, who's the players' coach. So right now, with Rivers at coach, it might help, it might not. But anyway, Bobby Portis, he's been one of the better 6 men over the last few seasons with this Milwaukee Bucks team, and definitely a good fantasy factor. And I think now he could get back to full potential with the coaching change. That's a few centers I look to buy and trade for Week 14 of the fantasy basketball season.